Okay, we call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, notice that this meeting was emailed to the Herald News, the Record Office of the County Clerk, and posted on the PCCC website and bulletin board on November 17, 2021.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Roll call.
Alumni Rep Martinez. Trustee Drakeford. Trustee Escuche. Trustee Golden. Trustee Montanez.
Here.
Here. Trustee Moody.
Present.
Trustee Nutter. Trustee Poe.
Here.
Trustee Smith.
Here.
Vice Chair Tanis. Here. Chairman Marco.
Here. Okay. First order of business is the consideration of the minutes of the February 15th, 2022 Board of Trustees meeting. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Okay. Hearing none, may I have a motion on resolution number 1, approval of the February 15th, 2022 minutes?
Move it.
Move it by
Second.
Okay, 2 seconds. I'll take 2.
Trustee Golden.
Yes.
Trustee Montanez Diogene.
Yes.
Trustee Moody.
Yes.
Trustee Poe.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Abstain.
Vice Chair Tanis.
Yes.
Chairman Marco.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
So, Dr. Rose.
All right, so we are beginning a period of time at the college which is getting ready for our accreditation. So every 8 years, colleges go through an accreditation cycle. As I think most of you know, we're accredited by the Middle States Commission on Higher Education. Full disclosure, I happen to be a Middle States Commissioner, so this has become a part of my life now of doing this, so I'm even more intensely aware of what we're going to go through in the next 2 years. So they're scheduled to visit here in the spring of 2024, but to be ready for that, we start now, and we have started, and it is a really great process for a college to go through, because it's once every 8 years we take a really good close look at ourselves. There are standards that all colleges are expected to follow, and you're going to hear tonight, what those standards are. Clearly, the board, in terms of governance, is involved in certainly the standards of Middle States, and what we're going to be taking a look at over the next couple of years is every aspect of the college. Are there ways, to improve? We'll ask the board to do a self-evaluation to see if, are there things that the board could do that might improve the way that they function. Every aspect of the college will be looking at it. So we've got a incredible leadership team here that we have put together who are going to lead our efforts at the college. And I asked them to come tonight, and I'm going to particularly thank Christine Redmond-Waldheim, this is spring break at the college, and she's a faculty member here, as many of you know, and she came in this week to do this for us. So we're really pleased that she did that. And so in addition to Dr. Waldheim, we have Dr. Justin Hall, which I really like calling him that. Justin completed his doctorate not too long ago at Rowan University, and we're really pleased that he did that. I'll skip to Dr. Dawn Norman, who also completed her doctorate a year and a half ago or so. And Meredith Behrens, who was going to start her doctorate as soon as her kids grow up a little bit. So I'm going to turn it over to them. Come on up. It's all yours.
morning. I'm Dr. Christine Waldeyer, and this is our presentation. And you just, Dr. Rose just introduced us all. So we had Dr. Dawn Norman, Dr. Justin Hall, and Meredith Barron's doctorate to be. So thank you. This is a little bit on accreditation. We will look at quality assurance, institutional improvement, and accountability. That provides quality assurance for students, parents, and the general public. It serves as a gatekeeper for Title V funding, and it will verify compliance with all applicable federal regulatory requirements. And these are the 7 standards and the compliance report that we'll be working on. Standard 1, mission and goals. Standard 2, ethics and integrity. Standard 3, design and delivery of the student learning experience. Standard 4 is support of the student experience. Standard 5 is educational effectiveness and assessment. Standard 6, planning, resources, and institutional improvement. Standard 7, governance, leadership, and administration. And we've added a working group 8, which will be working with compliance.
So there's sort of 2 different approaches that you can take to the self-study process. You have the standards-based approach, which most institutions follow. That's the one that we've chosen. There's also a priorities-based approach. The difference between the 2 is really just how you're structuring the different working groups. You can either organize them by standard, or you can, if you choose a priorities approach, you'll focus on a few priorities that your institution wants to address, and your groups would be organized by priority. But we've chosen the standards-based approach. This is sort of our tentative timeline for the spring 2024 site visit. We had a self-study institute, which was sort of like an orientation conference that we all attended. We developed a timeline. We drafted our self-study design. We're currently doing that right now. So we're in March, April. We've formed our working groups. We're giving them formal charges. And we're in the process of writing the self-study design, which is due to Middle States in April 15th. So kind of looking ahead, we have a meeting with our Middle States liaison in fall 2022. Team chair selection begins in January 2023. The chair's preliminary visit in fall 23. We have the on-site visit by the Middle States evaluation team in spring 24, and then we'll have final commission action between June and November of 2024.
And so one of the questions you may have is, what do we want? What do we want to get out of the self-study? So looking at the intended outcomes of the self-study, of course, reaffirmation of accreditation. But we're also looking to have an inclusive campus process. So we have a lot of people involved, and we'll talk a little bit about the breakdown of who's involved and what the working groups look like. But one of our huge goals is to have an inclusive campus process. And then a continuous improvement, an environment of continuous improvement and innovation. The self-study team is organized. We are the co-chairs of the self-study. Meredith is leading the communications team, but we also have working groups. So there are 16 co-chairs of the working groups, the 7 standards, plus the 1 compliance group. And each group is made up of a faculty member chair and an administrator chair. So there's a large amount of diversity of thought, position, and even personalities. So we have a great amount of people who are working on the project. Over 100 people are working on this project, and it really has become an inclusive campus project. We have an accreditation liaison officer who's our vice president, Dr. Jackie Knievi. And again, as I said, over 100 faculty and staff are part of the working groups. And then just a little bit about the standards and the compliance report. As we said, there are 7 standards, and the standards are really in depth, but just to give you an idea, so I am supervising the working group that is working on standard 1, mission and goals. The mission and goals standard will look to ensure that the mission of the college is concise and that it is clear and publicized across the campus, and that we are operating in line with the mission of the college. Standard 2, ethics and integrity, ensures that the college is operating in a truthful manner and holding true to policies and their commitments. And then Standard 4, I will also be supervising the work of the working group for Standard 4, which is support of the student experience. And that's just ensuring that we are engaging in a commitment to retention and creating an atmosphere of learning and fostering an atmosphere of student success. And Dr. Walder will talk about her standards.
I'm supervising Standard 3 and 5. Standard 3 ensures all programs, including certificate programs, despite the pace and the modality, meet the rigor of higher ed expectations. And I'm also supervising over Standard 5, which is the educational effectiveness assessment. And we'll be looking at that assessment demonstrates that students meet the goals of their programs of study. Thank you.
And I will be supporting the remaining standards. So Standard 6 is planning, resources, institutional improvement. That's really looking at, do you have, planning set up at your institution for facilities, IT? Are those plans linked with your budget? And do those things together kind of drive decision-making improvement at the college? Standard 7 is governance, leadership, administration. That one's pretty straightforward. It's just, do you have a formal governance structure? Do you meet the requirements set forth by Middle States for a governing body? And the last group, compliance, is also pretty straightforward. We have to abide by the different rules and regulations that Middle States has set out, relating to credit hours or distance education, articulation agreements. So we just have to make sure that we're providing evidence of policies and procedures in those areas.
So I was lucky enough here to be asked to support the communications plan. This was a great role for me because you all know that I love to talk. So, I'm joined by some of my colleagues to develop this plan, and really it's meant to inform and engage our college community. It's meant to not just get feedback from our faculty and our staff and our students, but also to share with them the process, what we're doing, just like we are here tonight sharing with you about Middle States, right? We're going to be doing that throughout the campus within our different groups. So we'll look to include strategies like presentations and forums, emails. We'll look to include things on our website for the external community as well. And again, it's all about sharing information, but also getting input from our stakeholders. The communications plan spans the entire 2 years of this process, right? So it is not just taking place now, but also looking to make sure that when the Middle States team does come here, that again, we share their visit with everyone here at the college. And that, I think we took a very intense process and kind of summed it up nicely for all of you, really just again hitting those key points about the standards. We appreciate the opportunity that Dr. Rose provided to us to come and share this with you. And as he mentioned, it's really, I think, a moment for us to reflect on just the exceptional work that we're doing here at the college. So we really, truly are excited about what's to come.
Go back to the one with the standards for a second.
Yeah.
So last Thursday I had an 8-hour meeting of Middle States on the commission, going over, and what we talk about for those 8 hours are all the colleges that are in trouble. Okay? If you don't make it to the agenda unless you're in trouble. So where do colleges get in trouble? Mostly Standard 5. So what part of what the expectation is that we are, and Christine also happens to be one of the leaders here of our assessment at the college. We can't, so it used to be, 30 years ago, if you took a course and a faculty member would say, my students did really well. 9 out of 10 got A's in the course. So therefore, it was a great course. And the students really learned a lot because they got A's. Well, that doesn't mean anything, just saying that the student got A's. Is that we have to be able to demonstrate with everything we do here, is that we are assessing it. That we have set some standards, and that we are looking at what we're doing. And then if we find that there are problems, we've made changes in response to what we found. So it's not enough to just, and they call it closing the loop. So that you've taken a look at data and you see that, hey, we've got a problem right now. So right now, for example, we've done some research. Justin, who leads institutional research at the college, has done some research, and we're not very happy with some of the pass rates in some of our math classes right now. Not enough students are passing. So what we need to do, okay, so why aren't they passing? Is it our teaching? Is it not enough support for the students? What is it? And right now we're going through a process. We actually have 2 days of meetings next week. We have an external consultant coming in who's an expert in developmental math, who's going to be working with us and meeting with the faculty to talk about ways that we can improve what we do here to make sure that our students, we improve the outcomes of students who are taking our math classes. We need to do that throughout the college, and we need to demonstrate in Standard 5 that it's not only math that we're doing it in, it's the rest of our courses. And that we're really, taking a look at it. What's happening now, so if you look at Standard 6, Planning, Resources, and Institutional Improvement, what's going on is many of the private colleges who do not get public funding are really running into a hard time in terms of that they do not have enough money to continue. So they're getting in trouble on Standard 6 a lot, because one of the things you have to be able to demonstrate is that you have enough reserves, you have enough money in the bank, that if something goes wrong, that you have enough to do it. And as you've heard us say here before, we were very pleased when our auditors came in a couple of months ago and showed that we have really come a long way under Stephen's leadership to build up our reserves at the college so that we have adequate money. But they're going to look for every college to have adequate reserves, whether it's private or public, but it's really the private colleges today that are having a problem. If you look at Standard 7, governance, well, that's partially about you. When we bring a new program to you that has gone through our internal governance process at the college, and then the final step is to bring it to you. So next Monday, Tuesday, or one of those days next week, we have a meeting on our mission and goals at the college. We're now, as part of this process, we're taking a look at our mission statement. And within the next couple of months, we will be bringing it to the board here for final approval. But right now, we've got dozens of people at the college who are going through drafts of looking at new mission statements. And we invited back in December or November, we invited external people from the community to come in, some elected officials, some this, some that, who came in. Mike, you were there, I think, at that meeting. And we brought people in to talk about how they view the college, what they value about the college. We want to make sure that we're reflecting all the things that go into, what we do here, and that it's not just the internal people we're looking at, but we got external stuff as well. So just a little more,
What about Standard 4, supporting student experience?
That is, are we providing enough tutoring for our students? Mental health issues, Dawn?
Yes, and are we supporting them inside the classroom and outside of the classroom? So creating a complete holistic atmosphere of student success.
But that gives you an idea. So we're going to be coming back to you many times in the next 2 years. This group will be coming back to give you updates on what they're doing, and it's going to result in a 100-page report that they're going to submit in February of 24. They'll have the report ready, and it'll go out to this visiting team, and it's going to cover all of these standards and give our analysis on each one. And part of it is, hopefully, by the time, they find a problem right now, our goal is to fix it now. Not to wait till 24 to fix it. You want to get to a point, in 24, if you could write a report that says, we're good. I recently saw a college that submitted their report, and they had something like over 100 recommendations to themselves in this report. To themselves. Stuff that they said, oh, we need to work on this, we need to work on this, we need to work on this. Now, if in 24, if there are one or two things that we still feel are undone by the time we get there, that's fine. But if you've got 100 things that you're not doing, you got a problem.
I'd say so.
So, but we've got incredible leadership here, and we'll do fine.
Yep.
Any
Question, comment? Standard 4, I'm just wondering, do you have any student input in that area?
Great question, thank you, yes. We are looking for student input in several areas, all of them in some way, so absolutely. So we will be tapping into students and former students as well. So stay tuned.
Yeah, we're forming another
Yes.
committee of students and alumni.
Yes, absolutely.
I have some ideas.
Wonderful.
We see you volunteering, Jay.
Yeah.
You're already on the list.
She's on every list. Any other questions? Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, reports.
Do you have a report?
No,
You said you wanted to talk about something.
no,
Never.
not ready.
Okay.
Legislature threw me a curve.
Okay. Well, just for your information, our chairman serves on one of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges committees, which reviews legislation, which looks at county colleges, and I know you've been active with that group, and
Yeah, and
it's very appreciated. You bring great expertise to that area.
very interesting. There were 2 bills up yesterday in Trent, and one got referred back to the Assembly Education Committee, and another one got referred back to higher ed. So, just they throw you curveballs every time you dug at it. So, next month I'll do a little update.
Yeah, it's
on
good.
the bills.
Good.
No problem.
Good. Good to do. So one of the things we have on tonight is, is I think you all know, we're a part of the Passaic County Library System here at the college. So it's called PALS Plus. So every year there's an agreement that has to go before the board and to continue our affiliation with PALS Plus. So that's what you have here this evening. Purchases of goods and services. Nothing extraordinary this evening, but happy to answer any questions. I think one thing here that's very
Yeah, I have a question on PALS Plus.
Sure.
I was reading it said it's due in December.
Yep.
And we're just sending it in now.
Yep.
Somebody messed up.
I just got it this month. Yes, it's late.
Yep, you caught it. Some turnover in staff in some departments, and whoever person doing it for the last 20,
Forever, yes.
25 years. People retire, people move to new departments,
COVID.
but it's fine. It's not a. It was not time sensitive. One thing that's connected to all this, which is really important, as you know, we've received quite a bit of funding from the federal government for coronavirus relief. It's called HERF-3, Higher Education Relief Fund. So one of the things that we've been very concerned about, all us and everybody else, is they gave us this money with a very short window to spend it. Now, typically what happens in the federal government is when we have a grant, very often, for any good reason, they will give you what's called a no-cost extension for those funds. That gives you extra time to spend the money. These funds were different because when all the relief funds for coronavirus came out, Congress was very concerned. They wanted that money out into the hands of people as quickly as it could be, and basically, said, well, we're not sure we're going to be giving no-cost extensions on this money. Well, nobody also understood that putting all this money out into the economy would possibly cause something called inflation and possibly overheat the economy a little. So, fortunately, last week, they relented and they gave all of higher education a blanket extension of all of these funds until June 30th of 2023. So that is a huge relief for a lot of people here, especially Brad, who has been trying to spend a lot of this money, because it was kind of use it or lose it kind of thing, and we're talking about millions and millions of dollars at this point, and Stephen was going to spend this money one way or another. We were not going to give it. Just as an aside, we also got some money from the state last year, and the state gave us a ridiculous. It was a relatively, like $1.5 million or something like that, and gave us a ridiculously short window. They screwed up, and they gave us a very tiny window to spend the money in. We did the best we could, but at the very end, we had a couple $100,000 that we were not going to waste it, and we were not going to illegally spend it. So Stephen does a report and tries to return the money to them, and he gets a call from the state, basically saying, "We really don't want this money back. Can you find a way to spend it?" And he said, "Well, I can't spend it because you gave me 6 weeks to spend this money." Well, they basically told him to be creative, and he was, and we did not return any money.
Yay.
So, but that's what's going on today. This is all brand new stuff. So, some of the things that you're seeing, are purchasing here are in response to, these things, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for an institution like us to upgrade a lot of our systems, to do things which we're going to be benefiting from, for the next decade. So it's getting it all done at once. So it's good.
Were there any talks of sort of integrity reviews from the feds? I know that for the public schools, we're getting an integrity review.
Well, there's lots of talk of it.
So our letter came in, so just have that in the back of your mind.
Oh no, we approached it that way. Stephen has been meticulous.
In our auditors, we take a conservative approach. If we can't stand on its own with documentation, we're not going to do it. I shouldn't have to be there to kind of explain what we did. And then also our auditors did extra work to kind of make sure that we were documenting everything we needed to do. That was required of them, of the feds. So I feel very good about what we purchased, and then we have the right back up to support our items.
Thank you.
And part of this funding, at least with the latest group of money, is $10 million going directly to our students. $10 million going directly to our students. So we have had and you think that would be easy to give away $10 million to your students. It's not. And Meredith will tell you that, but she's been very involved in the process of creating an emergency fund for students, having students filling out proper paperwork, because we've been able to help our students, with all aspects of their lives. And that was what the money was for. It was not to pay their bills here. As a matter of fact, we were prohibited from using the money to pay their bill at the college. This was to help them live. This was to help people who are food insecure. This was to help people who couldn't pay their rent. This was to help people who couldn't pay for internet, or people who needed a new computer, or people who needed this and that. So, the good news is we're going to be able to carry over, we think it's something $3 or $4 million into next year, because, this June 30th, the problems of the pandemic are not over. The students who are suffering are going to be still suffering next year, and the fact that we can continue to help them next year is a big plus for us. So, this getting this extension was a really big deal. So we're really pleased that that happened.
That's it. So there's no need to go into executive session.
It's not.
And then move on to consent resolution 3. May I have a motion to adopt the consent resolution number 3, approving the following items as set forth in the memoranda dated March 15th, 2022. The instructional item, PALS Plus, the appointment of Min Bong La, head librarian, as the college library's representative to PALS Plus, Inc., and Ken Carroll, librarian senior learning management system administrator, technical resource specialist, as the library's alternate voting representative. The business items that are listed in that memo, and also the personnel items that are listed in the memo as well.
Second.
Second. Question? Yeah, question now?
Yeah, could you explain to me the, under purchasing, goods and services, I see where you have, say, public service electric gas.
Yep.
$41,000, and it said the new total is $800,000.
Yep.
What is that new total?
Yep, let me just turn to it. So what has happened is we use third-party sources for things. So we were able to purchase our electric not directly through PSE&G, but instead through who was it?
GI Energy Service?
Yes. But these contracts expire, and they don't always expire. You know, we're on a July 1st to June 30th year. That contract expired in the middle of the year. We're not spending any more money on our utilities than we told you when we came to you last year. We're just spending it with different people than we said. So as you can see from here, we're going to be spending more money with some of our things and less money with others.
And Trustee Moody, this happens every year. We have a snapshot at the beginning of the year, who our providers are in the consortium, but we never really know where the volume's gonna go until the year begins. So this usually happens every year, where we make adjustments. But as Dr. Rose said, we're not gonna exceed the budget.
So that new total is it's money that you spend and added to that particular.
It's all within budget. It's just we're gonna spend more with, in this particular case, more with PSC&G than we originally projected, and less with the other vendors. So there's plus and minuses, I think. So but we're not going to exceed the budget.
No, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Roll.
Trustee Golden?
Yes.
Trustee Montanez, Deojane?
Yes.
Trustee Moody?
Yes.
Trustee Nutter?
Yes.
Trustee Poe? Trustee Poe? Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis?
Yes.
Trustee Poe? Chairman Marco?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheat sheet. Are there any remarks, any more remarks from the trustees? None, hearing none. Public? We have the public on the, anybody from the public? Nobody from the public? All right, we have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Trustee Globin?
Yes.
Trustee Montanez, Deojane?
Yes.
Trustee Moody?
Yes.
Trustee Nutter?
Yes.
Trustee Poe?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Vice Chair Tanis?
Yes.
Chairman Marco?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Meeting's